Welcome out to the Remix Morning Show as we give you that boom bap, that breakfast that you need to get you through the day, right here on Black Power Media. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor, and let me introduce you to your host. We got no other than Dr. Jared and Coco. Yeah.
What's up, good people? What's up, remixers? What's up?
Good morning.
What up?
What's going on? Ear Doctor with the cuts on the ones and twos.
We gotta get it started. Big up to everybody that tuned in for Sundays. We had a good old time. We did some house cleaning music. So all y'all need to still clean your house. Go check that mix out.
Oh, I definitely need to do that. I need to do that. And I'm a relatively neat person, and my space is not where it's not conducive to thought.
Yeah. I mean, you got the kids home now. You got a whole bunch of stuff that needs to be done right now, so everything is straight. So it's time to do it. Go check that mix out and get to it.
Mix, yeah, that's what's up. Thank you for that.
No doubt.
Go back and get inspired to get caught up with the cleaning. What's up, Coco?
How you doing? How's everyone? It's a lovely Tuesday. I woke up early this morning, so I said I might as well come on.
I see.
I was like, yeah.
We ain't get
I mean, my son is home.
Oh,
so I wake up at this time all the time. By the way, I just it's not a day off. So
it never is a day off, is it?
No.
Speaking of, I'm starting my daddy summer camp next week. So
what is that?
Well, it's what you do when you don't want to pay the summer fees. When you put in the summer camps and stuff like that, like the $100, $200 a week and stuff like that. Well, pretty much I set up a calendar and I got like different blocks where they'll be able to put in what they want to do. So I got mental health blocks. I got acting. I got art. I got education. I got reading. I got different blocks. So every hour, half hour, you got to put something. You got to do something for that time. So all three of us.
Wait, whose children? Whose children? This is your children?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah, man. You know, got to get it started. And this is gonna be a better education than they will ever get. So
Didn't your son graduate? He graduated high school.
Yeah, he graduated high school. So his job, part of like the self work you got to do on yourself is him continue to write and try to get scholarships and stuff like that. So certain things he got to continue to do throughout the summer, and that's his job.
Gotcha. Did he go? Is he going to college? What's his plans?
College probably. Yeah, he going to college. He's going to. He got a couple. We looking at Kennesaw State and SCAD. SCAD trying to get him heavy, but they like 20 G's a semester. It's ridiculous.
Oof. How much? That's wild.
And talk
that's
about
how much
giving.
People pay.
I know, right? And talk about giving $3,000. Like, we'll give you a scholarship for $3,000 a semester. Oh, thanks.
That's wild.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, I didn't pay that much for college, so I don't know what the struggle is for that. So,
but how much it costs at Morgan State a semester?
That is a good question. I don't even know off the top what the in-state, out-of-state tuition is at Morgan these days. Somebody in the chat might know. I'm gonna do a quick search, but according to a quick Google search, in-state is 8,000, out-of-state is just under 19 at 18 and a half per year. So in-state,
bunch of locals there, boy. I tell you, ain't nobody traveling out of state to go to Morgan State. They 19. Good Lord.
I mean, 19 for college at this point is relatively inexpensive relatively speaking. I mean, if you're talking about, like University of Maryland, I think even for in-state is like, I want to say, I'm gonna check that real quick. I want to say it's going to be at least twice that. And let me see. Yeah, well, I'm wrong. In-state is just under 11,000. Out of state is just under 40,000. So it's
what?
Out of
40?
state is twice.
Per semester?
Out of state is twice per year.
Per year. Okay.
Still,
So, I think I think I was paying $6,000 per year at CUNY.
Yeah, at Frostburg, I went
per year.
Let's see, because I only got $10,000 for my GI Bill, and that covered about 2 years of Frostburg. No, about a year and a half of Frostburg. So I think it was like something like 5,000 a year. I mean, yeah, at Frostburg, where Mama's Biscuits from 1997 to 1999 were the greatest funk band in Western Maryland.
Talk.
But
these struggle schools, we could be having it. They got the people. So the people that.
Yeah, but yeah, out of state for College Park is twice. And if you're talking about Ivy League and top tier Research One schools, I mean, 40,000 out of state is going to be cheap. They're $50,000-$60,000 a year. So.
Anyway. So
somebody got to make somebody got to pay for these salaries that some of these admin and superstar faculty make. So, let's be fair. Somebody. I mean,
it's only them though. It's only them that's
it's only
money,
them,
right? Because
I mean,
the people who's doing the work ain't making no money, right? The adjuncts and
even some of us tenured full professors are getting trickle down pay. It's trickling.
If you had your choice, would you send your daughters? If your daughters was like, you want to send them to college?
Oh no, send them to college. They're going to university.
Okay.
That in our house, it's not even an option. It's. I mean, they have to.
What if they wanted to do a trade?
They can do it after they get their degrees. They can go do whatever they want to do. No
HVACs in the house.
They can do that. And they can take those courses on the side as they're doing whatever else that they're doing. But they're going to get those degrees, and it's degrees.
Oh,
so
not just a bachelor.
No, they have to have terminal degrees. So, however, whatever form it is, it's that. So, if it can be an MFA, Master of Fine Arts. It could be a PhD. It could be a medical degree. It could be a law degree, but it's going to be a terminal degree. So, send
them down to Morris Brown, man. We got you.
It is. Now technically,
what kind of sound was that?
So technically they could go to Morgan for free.
There you go.
Oh shit, okay.
But there's zero chance of that.
What?
Zero chance.
I hear that.
Zero chance.
Under your tutelage.
First of all, they get my tutelage for free every day, all day. So they
keep it going for free,
bro.
And
that like various forms of insurance travels with them. So they get me wherever. But the at this point, Morgan State has lost the privilege of ever having my children attend, regardless of whatever. So yeah, they ruined that chance. That's on them. But
so PWI, it don't matter. Whoever get a scholarship.
I have to admit I've become, and I'm open to be checked on this, but I've become very cynical about the HBCU experience, and I am more and more convinced at this point that you can find pockets of Africanity anywhere that will balance the PWI experience. I don't think the HBCU experience is what people think it is, and I'm convinced that I think the Black community at Frostburg, where I went, that small, I think was tighter knit and more in unison and had more fun. It feels like, I don't know. Obviously, it's hard to tell because I'm not a student anymore, but it feels like it was a better experience in that context, just because of the forcible tight knit relationships that it seemed to create when you're in that hostile surrounding. But and then it's just also in terms of the resources, I mean, if you have small class sizes and resources, and then you have pockets of community that you can find on and off campus, I think that is more of a solution than trying to say the HBCU in and of itself will solve all of these problems.
I guess if you're going to put yourself in debt, you might as well go with the top tier school. Is that fair to say?
No, that's not really my point as much as it is that I'm saying I think for the most part, and I might be just it is.
But you're right on the resources. The resources part is a big part of it. Like,
so we have to be clear. We do have to be clear. I am, just to be very, very clear here, I am at this point scarred and jaded by my experience at Morgan. So it is maybe unfair for me at this point to say what I'm saying in the way that I'm saying it. But I do honestly, I mean, I've been considering this for a long time, and I ask my students all the time what they think about this, especially those who've been at other universities. And I do think so. And my point really is that even if you go to a PWI, or even if you go to an HBCU, if you're not conscious of the social environment, political environment, and the community you create for yourself, the fact of the HBCU won't solve all the problems that you're going to face. And the fact of being at a PWI with all the resources won't solve all of the problems that you're going to face. There has to be some sort of effort, and the extent to which you can prepare or, be prepared for this in advance, knowing where you're headed, to find pockets of community, again, on and off campus. That's what I think is, and I'll stop here, but I used to say my number one bit of advice was always go to school where you could find happiness living socially, because I think that has a lot to do with the overall experience, as much as, again, the whole institution itself. And I don't feel like I'm doing a good job here, but somewhere in there is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no,
Jerry, can I ask?
Sure.
Jerry, can I ask? Your daughters, like, what type of environment are they in now? Like, what's their schooling like now? Or, I know you're in the tree-lined streets, but I don't know much.
So it's weird, and I can't, there's only so much specifics I can share here, but they are in, obviously we're in a predominantly white area, but the way what I'm calling busing occurs in this area, the schooling environment is way more Black and brown than I think the geographic location would suggest. And that causes some, like not everybody's happy about that, white folks included.
So y'all get bussed out to the hood?
Well, the way it's described is that it's a little more complicated here, because it's not really the hood, but the way it's described here is that the hood is bussed into the suburbs. So like because the way Columbia is arranged, it does have pockets of low income and mostly Black communities. I mean, it's it's relatively small, but so like when my daughters went to elementary school, they went to a school that was not technically the closest to our house, and the surrounding neighborhood was almost entirely white, but the school was at least 97% Black and brown. I mean, there was literally like one white kid in the class. And what I always thought was happening was that, well, part of it is white folks age out and leave, and they don't reproduce themselves to have enough kids to go to these schools. More Black and brown people have moved into the area, albeit into various, class differences, spaces, and then they need to get put somewhere. The rich white folks have built more communities to the outer skirts that are almost exclusively for them, which is why the one Columbia pool that has a heated pool is out in River Hill. And they used to think they was slick that's where I found you, bro. I found you. And you think you was slick.
Like,
but yeah. Right, this pool, nice crispy 80 degrees at 5 o'clock in the morning. Out. Yeah, that's it. Let me find out, you slick little. but yeah, so what ends up happening, my girls are in a very, like, their social group is predominantly African diaspora, with like the little, I think there's still like a 2 white girl contingent in there. I'm not entirely sure. There's been some shifts lately.
Okay.
But so and then their home environment is exclusively brown and African diaspora for the except for their grandmother. But Yeah. Anyway, so that's I don't know if that answers your question, Coco, but that's where that's
it makes sense. I mean, I'm sure Colombia doesn't have 5 high schools, for choices, right? It's not like it's one of those cities where you could just, you have choices and everyone has to go to the one school. So it's really just what the city is made up of. So that makes sense.
And it's how they zone and you get zoned
exactly
and put in the school.
Exactly. And then you, like you said, there's class things, right? Like you have to think about like the wealthy people, they separate themselves. They go to their private schools and, you have to think about all the private schools that exist and everything. So that makes sense.
And they also even created a public school option for themselves. They did. The River Hills section of Columbia is the first that has I think no low income housing at all and almost no even apartments. I mean, everything is palatial, whatever, and it's at the outer skirts of like it's a new area, and they're still building out there, so like and then the rich and white they got a whole beef. I just learned about the rich and white folks out there want to build a wall on the little highway because there's too many people coming out there now and it's noise pollution for them now.
I like how they move, boy. I like how they move.
What happens when you got political power, right?
I mean, that's what it is. You build walls, you rezone. That's it.
Segregation all day. Listen, we don't want your kind over here. Don't step over the line.
They're separating. They're not segregated. They're separating. They have moved. We're not segregated. We just and then I quietly found a part. I got lost a couple years ago and found like they were building an even newer area with these big ass homes in it. And I was like, I didn't even know this existed. Like 2 minutes down the street. I was like, you slick little. And then I got one more thing I'm gonna throw out there. How do you build a community of for my taste, they're too close to one another given the size and I'm sure the cost of these homes. They have to be 700-800 and up, 1,000 and up. But how do you create a situation where at least 90% of the homes purchased on this strip are a variety of Southeast Asian. In other words, like, how does that happen? There weren't even any white folks over there.
You build an online community.
I don't know what that means, but I don't even know.
You're talking about having a community with the people that live right around you, and you say
no. I'm saying like they built this whole stretch of brand new big ass houses, and everybody that lives there is from I forgive my ignorance, India, Pakistan, maybe a couple continental Africans.
Communities is a thing of the past, ain't it? Don't it seem like it like really having?
But this can't be an accident though. Like, how does this happen? Like how?
You know the answer.
It's not like it's old segregation. That's basically what I'm hearing. It's not like it's something that's existed for so long, right? Where these communities grew out of it. That's different, right? It's you're saying is that these are new houses. People moved here intentionally, and how did they collectively and intentionally move collectively to this area with these new houses? Which I can understand. Exactly there has to have been something, right? There has to have been something where they create that community. Whether it's investment community, whether it's, whatever it is, it had to have been something. Somebody, the developer might have, know all these families, there's so many
Africans do it all the time. Africans come in, send one, and then a whole lot of them come through.
But here, Doctor, so let me just break this down real quick. This was a couple years ago. My daughter's soccer team had to move their practices to the coach's house, which is the only reason I ended up knowing where this neighborhood was in the first place. Because again, I don't see these places. And you turn left off of this road that I'm usually on to see a space I never go to. And it's this brand new expanding strip of really big, beautiful houses with yards in the back big enough to accommodate a soccer practice. And I would just sit there in the car during her practice and read and listen to podcasts or whatever. And I'm just looking around, and I even at one point took a walk and drove around while she's at practice. I promise you, maybe there was one white family, maybe 2 continental African families, and then everybody else. Again, and I'm saying, how do you do that? It can't have been an accident, and it's not one at a time, because even then, how would you arrange to do that? Anyway,
but even then, the class, right? Like, you have to, like, if right. What Ear Doctor is saying, that's more of a working class struggle. That's not necessarily you buy a big house and everyone in the neighborhood has a big house. Like, this is that's a big difference. Where Ear Doctor, I think you're referencing more of the working people, the people that are in struggle, and they come and they support each other because they don't really have anything. And so that you see, I think, more in the maybe an apartment complex or maybe something like that, but I don't think you would see in a larger house, right?
Yeah, generations of families in one house, and then they
soccer practice in the backyard, Cynthia, with a built an extended patio, like built like the whole back second floor, the back of the house is a patio that they could that overlooks the backyard. I mean, I was like, and again, I don't get jealous when I see houses like that. I get angry. I do.
And when I walk around, when he's angry.
It's not that. I just get angry. I just get angry because I'm like, this is too much, given what even what I have is too much, given what people have or don't have right down the street. This is not. I'm like, I get it. I'm just walking around, and I'm like, and then you've created an enclave for your community, which on the one hand, I get it. I'm not mad at you for wanting some sort of unity with your people. But something funky is going on that allows for that to go on, and it is related to it is very much the issue of class, and being able to separate themselves in these enclaves, which again you don't see unless you're invited there. Like, you don't accidentally, or unless you do get lost and it's an accident, but you don't. There's no like, oh hey, it's like it's a normal part of your business day seeing these places. You gotta be invited or just fall in there by accident. Anyway.
Well, listen, welcome out everybody. This is the Remix Morning Show, and we are talking that talk this morning, but we're going to get into some news. We're going to take our first break right here. Make sure y'all hit that like button if y'all haven't already, as we do right here on the Remix Morning Show with that Boom Bap Breakfast. We'll be right back. Let's get it. And you see me walking down the street. That's right. Big up, y'all. Everybody out there, like I said before, hit that like button, subscribe button if you haven't already. We are rocking out right here on Black Power Media for you and yours every Tuesday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Now, let's talk about this weather we're dealing with. Man, it's like June in a couple days, and we still got hoodies on. It's crazy right now, but global warming and all that. All right, let's get to it. Well, let's start off in ATL. We got a high today of 79 degrees. Next, let's take it to BK, Brooklyn, Brooknam. They got a high today of 69 degrees. Only 69, and it's almost June. It's crazy, y'all. All right, let's take it to Dallas. Only 85 degrees. Yeah. Now let's take it to the West Coast, Los Angeles. Only 65 degrees. I'm telling y'all, it's a lot going on outside. It's a war going on outside. No man is safe from. Next, let's take it to Bermuda, to all my Burmies out there. They got a high today of 75 degrees. And last but not least, let's take it to the motherland, no other land, Burkina Faso and Fada. They got a high today of 98 degrees. Now, I would say that's pretty hot. I'll tell you what else is hot. A hot topic like this one right here, this Neuralink that your boy Elon Musk is talking about. He hopes to use this microchip to put in your brain that treats conditions such as blindness and other things. It helps certain disabled people use computers and mobile technology. This chip, which has been tested in monkeys, are designed to interrupt signals produced in the brain and relay information to devices via Bluetooth. So yeah, I think we talked about this back in the 90s when we was talking about the mark of the beast and stuff like that. But what do I know? We've been talking about this for a while, but that's wild. We almost there, y'all. The future is here. I don't know about it, but let's talk about it right here on the Remix Morning Show as we get back to our host with the most. Let's go. Yeah. That's the wrong way to go, huh?
First of all, if Elon Musk is involved,
he's like Lex Luthor.
Yeah. First of all, he stole whatever he's doing. He didn't create whatever he's claiming. So let's just start there. Even if the technology works, whether it's good or bad, he has nothing to do with that part of it. He's just marketing and making the money off of it.
All the way down to the resources, theft, everything, theft. There's nothing that he created. There's nothing that he, dug up. There's nothing that he did.
Is he the Diddy of he walks in the room?
Oh wow, the Diddy of the world, right?
Yeah. I would not.
Let's take that
top tier colonizer. Top tier colonizer.
That's it. That's what we need. That's it. Are you working on that? Do we have that like a graph? We need like the graphs, like a chart, like the predator class, the top tier colonizer. That's he is.
I like
top
that.
tier
The predator
colonizer.
class.
The predator class.
You're gonna have to get that
together. Yeah. That's. I'm sure I got the visual working on my head already. Yeah, I like that.
But I mean, I'll be seeing these movies where they just always like got to take that chip out. They got a chip in your head, and it's like it's really here. I'm just waiting for flying cars. When I see flying cars, I'm good. I'm out of here. Y'all can take me. Lord.
Well, they are talking about drones being a little bit more I guess normalizing drones, or like where they're like delivering your groceries, and they're starting to talk about that, like that. And we have to remember that this technology has been around for so long, being tested and all of that. So I believe a lot of things. Ear doctor, I don't know if I believe what you had just shared with us before, but I do believe that these things, believe these things exist. I'm not saying that like this is what their agenda is, but I would say that these technologies do exist. They've been existing. And now we're starting to see the consumer versions of it. So
you talking about the Neuralink?
Yeah.
That's public. That's going public. That ain't no farce. They ain't playing. They ain't playing with y'all. They way above y'all. They listen. They already got robotic everything. They just waiting for y'all to get out the way.
Actually, you know what? They are testing. I read the other day they are testing fighter robots, right? So they are testing that. I'm sorry, I don't have the story up, but they are testing that, which I think is interesting. You
see the dog
really
robots in New York?
I saw the dog one,
I've seen the
and
pig
I saw
robots,
the one that boxes.
That
boxes? Does flips. It doesn't have a head. It's like it looks like a square box with arms and legs, and it will flip itself. Like it can do a flip, and it moves. It would be impossible to fight. I could see that already. It would. I don't know. I don't know that even the best human trained fighter could move as fast, be as strong, and be as endless in it, and be as persistent. I think that would be it. It looked like it would be a real problem.
Yeah, and I think what I was reading the other day, that they're autonomous, right? Like they think for themselves, these robots. Like they're not like somebody's actually controlling them. They're autonomous. They can. That's how AI has constantly been learning how to replicate human activity, and so now they can do pretty much anything on their own, which is like, I don't know. Why do we do this to ourselves?
Speaking of with the GPS chat joint, how you gonna check those papers next year coming in?
Like, you said GPS,
chat
GPT.
Chat GPT. It's too many letters. Everything got letters. But how you gonna know which one is real and which one? Because we've been finding old papers on computers and paraphrasing and redoing them. And now they got this whole AI that could do it for yourself. And it's like, how do you know which paper is legit and which one is not?
My hope would be that even if they use Chat GPT, it would require that they read what their own that GPT answer generated. And in and of itself would create some form of study.
Yeah. Because it's like the yellow cliff note. It's like cliff note.
I mean, sadly, it's becoming more more common to use these AI for whatever people want to create, right? So at the end of the day, they're saying that what is it? What is that? I'm sorry, Jared. What is that? When you take somebody else's work, what is that
plagiarism?
Word?
Plagiarism.
You can ask me. I know plagiarism. Wow.
So plagiarism is not necessarily a thing with these AI, because a lot of times the AI is just gathering information from various sources, right? And so every instance is a new instance, right? But at the same time, you know, this is where people want AI to do the work for you. They don't want like us to be actually physically doing this work. So like, what would it matter? I mean, in this current context of way people are thinking, what would it matter for people to produce content that's real? I mean, we're holding on to real content, but the rest of everybody else is not. Like, they don't care. You know, people don't care about authentic content, right? Like, when you can compete, you can't compete. That's the point. Like, even like Jared, you talk about this all the time. Like, we can't compete with this stuff, with the black buying power. It's the same thing. We can't compete. So like, why not? I don't know.
It's like we holding on to the past. Like, no, past, don't go. And they like, go ahead. We want to bring this. We trying to get to the money. The quickest way we could get to it is have these robots work for us, and we sit back at home and get our money.
So
I know they think.
Yeah. I know we have to slap the map, but I do. But this is actually what I was even thinking about this morning, because trying to put together some thoughts for a presentation and being just reconfronted with what for me is an old argument for me, which is that I'll say it this way, and as I wrote in my own notes this morning, I used to argue for the use of the mixtape as emancipatory journalism, because it was, as I said at the time, like it was a soft, insufficient, weak attempt to make the claim that Fanon makes about how we need to address ourselves to colonialism, that it's the violent reclamation of unsanctioned media space. I think the only thing left to do is to have some form of blunt interruptive activity, because we cannot just compete, even with the beautiful work we're doing here at BPM. It is not, it will never, it's never going to catch up to a more sufficiently resourced and organized, powerful enemy. So the only option is some sort of slap the map, slapping of a face somewhere. Something that is an interruptive, unsanctioned act.
Something. We like the Last Jedi's out here, but the Republic is coming.
Yes. What's up, world? Welcome back again. Remix Morning Show. Jared Ball, Coco in the building, Ear Doctor in the back, and Sister Erica, who has laced us once again with a bunch of I was going to say good stories, but I don't know that they're good. They're just stories. We will try to make good work out of them. But anyway, Coco, did you get a chance to look at any of them? Was there anything you wanted to get us started with this morning?
I did not. I don't have the list, so I would
my bad.
just,
no problem.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. Well, one of the stories here is what is in the debt ceiling deal struck by Biden and McCarthy. So I admit I am way behind on this, other than the fact that I know a deal was struck. So these details will be news to me. President Joe Biden and Republican House Speaker Kevin McCarthy on Sunday signed off on an agreement to temporarily suspend the debt ceiling and cap some federal spending in order to prevent a debt default. So when I hear cap federal spending, am I safe to assume that this means more austerity? And this is another excuse to tell us why we don't have money for people. Anyway. Written into legislative text that they hope will be passed by the House and the Senate in the coming days. The deal would suspend the $31.4 trillion debt until January 1st, 2025, allowing the U.S. government to pay its bills. In exchange, non-defense discretionary spending would be roughly flat at current year levels in 2024. So that is non-military discretionary spending on, so everything that's not military and what they feel like spending money on will get no increase, is what I'm reading there. Is that
that's what I'm getting? So okay. It's all military spending from here on. Just military spending.
Okay. All right. So they estimated that total non-defense discretionary spending, excluding benefits for veterans, would total $637 billion for 2024, down marginally from the $638 billion the year before. The total would also increase by 1% in 2025. The debt limit extension lasts past 2024, meaning Congress would not need to address the deeply polarizing issue again until after the November 2024 presidential election. Here we go. Increased defense spending. The deal would boost total defense spending to $886 billion, in line with Biden's 2024 budget spending proposal. That is about a 3% increase from the $858 billion allocated in the current budget for the Pentagon and other defense-related programs and other agencies. Wow. Anyway, so IRS, I guess, will get its $80 billion. The Inflation Reduction Act would yield $200 billion in additional revenue over 10 years. Biden and McCarthy agreed to claw back much of the unused COVID relief funds. The estimated amount of unused funds between 50 and 70 billion. I don't know anything about that.
That's why, first of all, that's wild that they have that much money just sitting there for COVID relief. And they couldn't give out no stimulus checks. They couldn't help anybody with nothing, like not even $100. Like I couldn't get $100 out of that. It's crazy.
No, that is crazy. Yes. Yeah. I didn't even, yeah. So this is just sitting around. Okay. But again, I got to go back to it. But when I was trying to read that MMT stuff and other things, Stephanie Kelton's book argues that all of this stuff is nonsense anyway. And this is just from a non-revolutionary, more or less pro-capitalist perspective. It's just asking, MMT was just more or less some minor adjustments, relatively speaking, to the system. And she's arguing that that debt for the federal government is not like household debt. The comparisons, it's not, and they use the phrase in that article that she says is inappropriate, that it's not that the federal government has to pay its bills the way you or I would have to in our households. It's especially in a country like this that has the resources and the capacity to produce in certain areas basically whatever it wants. It can just create the money it needs. It has the currency it needs. It doesn't need to so the debt is just more or less the way I read it, at least, like an international financial relationship that keeps everybody in line with one another. I borrow from you. It keeps us connected. I can't run off and get crazy. You can't become a hostile enemy because you want me to pay it off. I mean, there's this nice little thing, I'm never not going to pay it off, or that I'm never going to default on it, even if I never pay it off, because I'm a powerful country that's going to be here forever.
And that's exactly why defense spending is a priority, because that's how they can go into these countries and, steal resources and control all of the resources for their own, private capital investment that, they're all involved in. It's like their playground, right? The government is their playground. where they get to use however, private money that they have and investments that they have, and the government just encourages all of that. But I mean, this is just more defense spending. That's all I hear. That's all I see.
And everything
More
else
of
is
that.
staying flat. And
Flat.
everything else is flat. So, but yeah,
And then
yeah,
restricted.
yeah.
At that, right? Because this is not to say that they won't introduce more restrictions, right? And then also use this debt as an excuse to restrict more funding for more programs, which obviously we already see there's no real programs. Like, I don't know. Some people might claim that there's programs, but they reduced SNAP by so much money. I don't know the numbers, but I just see these as excuses. But it's interesting because people are making a big deal out of this whole thing, this whole debt negotiation,
But
and
they always
I don't
do.
understand. Yeah, it's
Because
true.
it's part of the theater that allows them to always conclude that we need more defense money and we don't have money for you. So everything else, and then it just becomes this theater, and then the talking points get dragged down to levels. I'm certainly not helping it with a whole bunch of knowledgeable discussion, but it usually gets dragged down to the level of commercial mainstream media and press that has that surface level debate about austerity versus the war budgets, the never-ending war budgets. And even after they leave Afghanistan, they still need to increase the budget. There's to get ready for the next thing, which is China or or Russia via Ukraine. But it's all just theater. And then they use it for elections. Like it said in the article, they don't have to, now they can make some sort of claim or avoid some sort of criticism for the election. And, that's going to get real as more countries disentangle themselves from the dollar. Chaos is coming. Capitalists don't like to lose capital. That's another good way of looking at it, I think. Yeah, right on.
I think it's great. I love seeing that all these other countries are aligning with each other and using each other's currency in order for them to trade and reject the US dollar. I think it's great. I know that it'll impact me somehow, but I still feel it's great somehow. you know like, this is the sacrifice I have to make for the greater good, globally.
I mean, in reality, that is a good point. I mean, if we really do want the world to be better, there has to be adjustments in distribution and power and authority. So our masters would have to lose some, and we would have to, anyway. Speaking of masters and those they deploy to keep us in check, apparently there was a whole party at the police station hosted by the police. Okay, I don't know where is this?
I saw this. I saw this on Twitter myself, and it's wild.
All right, I'll play this wild here, but I don't know where it is. Okay.
Do not drink and drive. The whole time I was here, I cannot believe that what they had us doing was legal. The local sheriff's department basically brings you in and gets you drunk and makes you do a field sobriety test. So watch this.
My name is Ty, and this is my first 98 milliliter drink.
My name is James, and this is my first 64 milliliter drink.
My name is Tiana, and this is my first 72 milliliter drink.
My name is Maya, and this is my first 72 milliliter drink.
So when we sign the consent forms, they ask you your weight and if you want to be a heavy or a light drinker. The first hour, we had to drink 2 drinks.
Hi, my name is Ty, and this is my second drink.
What's going on? My name is James, and this is my second drink.
Hey, y'all. My name is Tiana, and this is my second 72 milliliter.
My name is Paige, and this is my second drink.
And my name is Charlene, and this is my second drink.
This is Maya, and this is my second drink.
I'm sure you can already hear it in my voice that I was already getting lit. And we started drinking. We started getting friendly. We was playing games. I brought urban trivia. They were playing spades, spoons. Basically, we was loose as a goose because once that liquor get up in you, it's over. So after each hour, you had to take a breathalyzer. And I forgot to mention, we were not allowed to eat from 12 p.m. that day, and we had to wait until after our first drink. So Deputy Wright, she was wrong to be smacking in my ear like that because she knew I was hungry. Once we ate, they let us get our third drink.
One being sober, 10 minutes. How you doing?
Period.
What was the PR for this? How did they get people in there?
They was low-key bullying us because they would call you out if you were not drinking your drink. We thought things was green with the sobriety test. It clearly was not. The people who are doing our tests were in training. And so basically they have to do this in order to pass and move forward in the academy.
What?
Now, this is real training for them.
Wow.
But we were having fun. But baby, since I've been losing weight, let me tell you, I was toe down. I do want to add, we did have to Uber there. So nobody drove home or they brought DDs. They do this twice a year, but I don't think I can do it again.
They do it twice per year.
In total, it took about 5 hours. And at the end, they let us know our alcohol levels. And I was right under the legal limit, 0.77.
All right.
Shit is wild.
I DJ'd that party.
I can't imagine. You a DJ?
I DJ'd that party. I was there.
Oh, okay. I wish I knew where it was, but that shit was the wrong way. That is turn around, go back. Don't do it.
Clowns.
Don't do
clowns.
It.
Oh my
they do it
God.
Twice per year too. So everybody in there.
Was that though for real in Atlanta? I do believe that would have been in Atlanta. That seems like it would be a very Atlanta thing to have happen.
It do,
that
don't
felt
it?
very Atlanta. Where was that though? Does anybody know?
Love their pigs out here.
Yeah. So that's why I was like, what is the PR for that? Come drink with the police? Like, who is it? Is it like, are the free drinks that enticing? Because that food plate, that buffet didn't look. I mean, they went to the corner store and got some chips and some
CVS.
No music. That should look boring.
And then you're already in the jail, right? So they don't even have to drive you nowhere. They could just escort you right to the cell when they're ready, right? They could just.
But it's crazy what people will do for alcohol like that. To me, I mean, I think that this country has a history of people doing wild shit for alcohol, and I can't even speak to it because I mean, I'm not saying that I would do some shit like that because I don't drink right now, but when I did drink, that's wild. That's wild for free alcohol.
I remember they was doing it for the vax. They was like, "Come get your 6-pack, we got you." I was like,
they was giving out $100 gift cards.
They was giving out everything. Yeah. And whenever they give out anything, you gotta be like, So they got him up there that party.
I feel like that's a false equivalence, but I'm gonna let you. I don't want to have that. I don't want to do that today.
Oh, we ain't gotta go there. But I'm just saying.
But
the fact that you sign a waiver, like you sign yourself into a police station, police department, and you give out your information to the police. And you incriminate yourself basically, right? Because then now they can observe you. They can see how much you drink. They can, and I'm sure this is local. So I'm sure it's like one of those, locations where people know each other and then it just becomes like this, like, where do you draw the line? The police are not your friends. They're not your friends. Like, we gotta recognize.
I just want to put this out there again for anybody. If you ever see me around police, please check on me. Please help. Please intervene. Because I'm never willfully going to be like, I've never even agreed tactically with the willful activist arrest thing. I don't like it. I don't think I really don't. There should be no willful interaction at all. Like, at all. Free nothing. For nothing. If you ever see me in the station, get bail money, break the wall down, do something. Don't leave me. It's never on purpose. That's what I'm saying. It's never on purpose.
There's a cop that comes to the Black Man Lab, and he's been coming for a while, and I still can't speak to him. This is like,
I don't speak to him. Don't.
Ostracize him.
And nobody there really speaks to him. He just like, I'm trying to be.
He don't belong.
Man, we used to in that elementary school. My girls were at. There was a dude,
officer friendly,
a black dude, and I went in there for they did the parents profession day or whatever. Come and meet what your parents, and I walk in there and he's in full cop gear with the gun on the hip, and I was in an elementary school, mind you, where his kids go. And I walked into the room where they had the little snacks and stuff, and I did like that, and walked out. It was like anyway. It's real uncomfortable. Like why? I don't. So no willful interaction as far as I'm concerned. Anyway,
I feel like these lines are blurred, right? I feel like, and I can understand it. Like even when I was younger, I didn't really understand these things, right? And I mean, even in elementary school, we had dare officers, right? And so, I mean, I was in 5th grade, and they had a party, right? It was a dare dance. We call it was a dare. Shit was lit though. I'm just saying it was lit. Shit was in the hood. Shit was lit.
Nancy Reagan there.
But I'm just saying. And then, but then you think about it when you look back and you're like, oh shit, this is like the pigs putting on a party for the kids. And you don't think about it, but that's what they do. I mean, in New York, they had a gaming truck, right? Where they were having kids come into the truck and actually play games in the truck. And it was like surveillance for the neighborhood. And that was recent. That was like what, a year or two ago that they had that, and they might still have it. And people just fall for the propaganda. It's just crazy.
They got to step their game up like the military do, boy. They recruiting is serious.
Oh yeah, no question. But like my one college buddy, he's no longer a police officer, but that one time I never forget. It's like that. I asked him, what would you do if my name came across your desk? And he got real. It was scary. He was like, I'm gonna come get you. Oof. He just got real, I'm gonna come get you. He said, I'll try to do it, peacefully, whatever, but I'm gonna come get you. No ifs, ands, or buts. Like it wasn't even like, I'll give you a heads up, give you 5 minutes to get out. It was like, no, I'm gonna come get you. And so it was like very clear. Well, but actually, I think he thought so. But the point is, he thought he was. In his mind, he was saying, I'm going to do what would end up happening anyway, but I'm going to do it more humanely if I can. Aww. But the point is that the institution creates so even all the fun and jokes that they were having in that clip, let the red flag on someone's name go off or whatever. Let somebody do something wrong. All of that energy would have immediately changed. And the sister snapping her snacks in old girl's ear would be snapping her neck 5 seconds later. I mean, I think it would be just like that. So that's why I'm like, there is all of the friendly stuff is fake. If it can, even people you've met, like I think we've all had people in our lives that are not maybe in the military or the police, but have that tendency, they snap and it becomes an unsafe situation very quickly. And I find them untenable to have relationships with too. Because it's like if the relationship can go like that, then what are we? Then we don't have whatever is being claimed here. So, but when the institution is saying your role is to go get them, then I think it just adds a whole anyway. I don't think I've been very clear this morning at all. I apologize.
No, you good. I tell my kids all the time: know your friends from associates. I don't have a lot of friends. I know mad people know me, but friends is something different. With that said, friends are hard to find. Friends, yours or mine? All right. Well, we're going to take our first break right here on the Remix Morning Show. This is our second break right here on the Remix Morning Show. And we're going to come right back to you with some more news right here on the Remix Morning Show. Yeah. What's up, everybody? Welcome out once again to the Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. Please make sure you hit that like button if you're just getting in here. We got 208 89 people live. So make sure y'all hit the like button while y'all here. Subscribe if you are new to the channel. Become a member. Go to patreon.com. We just got some new footage dropped on Patreon for our Patreon members, so go check it out. We got more coming for y'all. All right, with that said, we're going to take a quick artist spotlight. And what artist do I want to talk about? No other than what you might hear in the background. Let's talk about Carl Thomas. That's right, Carl Thomas, also known as Carlton Thomas, coming straight out of Illinois. A lot of people thought he was from New York, but no, he's straight out of Aurora, Illinois. And what he did is he first started singing in Chicago and became a member of a group called The Formula. Then he went to New York, started doing open mics and stuff like that. And who caught his eye? No other than Diddy. Diddy said, yo, come sign with Bad Boy. So he signed in 1997, and he came out with his single, I Wish, which came out in 99. I wish I never met her, even though that was the joint right there. So it stayed on the top. It stayed 6 consecutive weeks on the top of the billboards, and then he came out with his debut album, Emotional. And strength of that single was dope because it came out with Summer Rain. So this whole first album was really hard. He had a track on Shaft movie, and Jay-Z shouted out his whole line in the song, so mad people was like, oh. He also was on a bunch of songs with Biggie, Memphis Bleak, the whole Bad Boy crew, and all them. So he had 4 albums, but what happened is he kind of took a break because his brother got killed. His brother got killed, and he took a break from the music, and then after a while came back. But you know how things move; they move without you. So, like I said, he got 4 albums. He got some bangers, some singles. But yeah, Carl Thomas, Bad Boy head right there. And with that said, let's go ahead and get back to our crew. Nah, we do.
That's my era. I love that music.
Man, listen. You said I got to do an R&B mix, Coco. I'm gonna get to it.
You do. I mean, I just love some R&B, so I'll take it.
The track you played on the way into that break, where was that from again?
That was a song he did with Biggie.
Okay, I couldn't place it. Yeah. No, that I loved. I'm with you on that, Coco. In terms of the era, I loved, and that Carl Thomas joint was, and it was on the mixtapes heavy. A lot of remixes. A lot of people put their stuff on. I mean, it was a lot of It was
that damn Summer Rain, boy. That's my joint, boy. I wish I never met her, even though. Oh, don't get me started.
So, you know, it's funny about sometime this calendar year, I had that song on in the car with the family. And for the first time, I heard it from the other perspective, though. Because he's over there talking about she was happily married with a husband and kids. And I'm like, hold up. I was like, what if I was the husband and kid? You little home wrecker, Carl Thomas, motherfucker.
It's amazing the perspective you look at songs, how you take it.
Because at the time, I was Carl.
Yeah, right.
Now I'm the dude that I'm the husband with the kids in the car. He running around like, hold up, Carl.
For real.
We over here praising home wrecking songs. You home wreckers.
Yo, and the crazy thing about 90s, a lot of these songs is like that. We talk about SWV, and they whole songs is about taking your man, TLC creeping with your man. I mean, it was mad disrespectful songs that we sang in the 90s. What was the matter with us?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I was a kid, so I was singing all the stuff that I shouldn't have been singing. I'll just say. I had no idea.
I mean, Salt and Pepper, when I was a kid, was talking about, I'll take your man.
Yeah.
That was one of their big hits, too. You know, like, wait a minute.
I love it.
Yeah, I was giving that. You know what I just heard? I just heard MC Light's Roughneck the other day OPP.
Oh, roughneck. She wants a disrespectful, ignorant nigga.
She was like, don't come over here singing your little love songs with the candles. You better be over here hurting something, breaking something. I was like, hold up. What kind of toxic masculinity was being encouraged even by the sisters back in the day? What kind of...
Coco looked like she liked the roughneck. Coco, you dealt with roughnecks, huh?
I've dealt with a lot of variety. I've had it all.
So, but I used to.
I had it all.
Oh man, I used to want to be one. I wanted the thug girlfriend.
The
and there was a number of occasions where I would be in proximity and they would tell me, you're not rough enough. They would straight up tell me, you cute, you ought to, we could have a little fun, whatever, but you not. Yeah. I need super thug and you not super thug. And I'd be like, you're right. My thug would only go to it was a cap on my thuggery and it was too much. It was like, they were like, no, you not. Like,
you're under the line, right?
But I did I used to like that thug woman that the
name of my rap group was the Roughnecks. So we came out straight thuggery, fighting in malls and stuff like that, shooting malls up. It was a time. It was an era, but I'm a good guy now.
No, they wanted to do that name like dudes like the dude whose nickname is actually Gunplay that's threatened to smack DJ Envy the other day.
Gosh.
That's who they wanted.
I had somebody. His name was Outlaw. Exactly. Outlaw.
That was yours.
Saying, that's it. Yep. I had many.
See, all I had in college, my nickname was Butter. So see, it wasn't.
No, that wasn't my nickname. But no. I've just been around all of them. So
but that whole I don't want to get on the hip hop thing, but that whole DJ Envy, Rick Ross gunplay thing. I mean, over cars. What's the matter with people? Just starting beef, talking about a car show. And now they done elevated to I'll go smack you. You talking about? I'm like, man, these is corny. Some corny people out here, for real.
When you were in a race to out hustle your people, there can only be there's not a lot of room at the top of any game, even at the top of hustler pyramids. There's not a lot of room, so they scrap it to get to the top. And I heard that call. Envy clearly knew who he was talking to because old boy was like, I smack you, right? I mean, I didn't mean what if you took it that way, I'm sorry. I didn't, because I smack you, right, Envy? I smack you, right? And I was like, wow, he must really be like that because I would have to think you were really like that to have responded the way Envy
his
did.
name is Gunplay.
Like, I'm gonna smack you. That's what I'm saying. You must really have earned that because Envy was on the phone like. Don't you communicate professionally, Envy?
Clowns.
I mean, they also come. I mean, Envy, he's a Catholic school boy, Gunplay. He's from Miami.
I don't even know.
So I mean, it's a whole different, vibe and environment that people's from. And Envy, I think he just oversteps into places that he don't belong. So. He just has access. That's all. That's it.
And wasn't you doing something about? Okay,
you went too quick with that. Just real quick. Thanks for the super chat, and I just want to shout out to DC Joe Black. I don't know who that is, but Joe, what up, Joe? It's always good to see some of that DC slang around.
I was about to say that's that slang. Slim Joe.
What up, Joe? Anyway, sorry about that. Go ahead.
Nah, you all good. All right, so we'll go ahead and get up out of here, and I'll catch you on the next break. Peace.
So. You send something in the chat, Coco, about a story that you want because
I saw the list, but I don't have access to the links. So I
I see what you're saying. Okay,
if you have access to the links,
I do. That would be good. I'm always good for some Talcum X stories.
Yeah,
is that what this is?
Yeah, I think so. I was referencing this yesterday in the chat, but I thought that I don't know. I haven't seen the story yet, but I just know. he's asking for more money.
So according to the New York Post, which is of course a bastion of, you know,
I think this is a little different.
Oh, is this not the same story?
No, I think this is a different one.
Oh, damn, my bad. Wait, I don't see.
We can talk about this one too.
Oh, I just saw BLM, so I don't see this Sean King story. I thought this was it.
Oh, Ear Doctor sent me a screenshot.
Ear Doctor, can you put the link in the chat that you're talking about, and I'll get to that. Sorry about that. Anyway, only 33% of Black Lives Matter's 90 million in donations helped charitable foundations, according to this. I guess this is the chart here. How Black Lives Matter burned through most of $90 million in donations in 2 years. You know what? I mean, I know as much as I've hated on BLM and am critical of it, I kind of feel a way about the New York Post doing it. You know what I mean? It's like, you aren't critical for the same reasons. Anyway, so to the extent this is true, 90 million in donations in 2 years, 30 million went to grants to charitable foundations, 22 million went to expenses, which would include payments to the Black Lives Matter, what does the GNF stand for? Something fund, General National Fund, something, somebody will know. Board member Shalomia Bowers and her consulting firm. They got $2 million. 2.1 million. Patrice Cullors, our brother's security firm, got 1.6 million. Trap Heels LLC, run by the father of Patrice Cullors' father, father of her child, was $969,459. Former board members consulting firm in connection with a contract dispute, $600,000. And payment to former managing director Kaylee Scales, 115 or 114 change thousand. So that means 33% of nearly 90 million it received went, only 33% went to the actual foundation, a global network foundation. That's what the GNF stands for. And the group also gave a grant to one of its harshest former critics, paying $400,000 to the Tamir Rice Foundation.
I think that's just wild.
And then I just saw the story the other day where Patrice Cullors was let go from her, was it Warner Brothers contract? And they were under a dispute over what she did and did not, thank you, Ear Doctor, what she did and did not produce in terms of content.
I guess dancing, her dancing videos wasn't enough.
Yeah, I honestly don't. Here we go. This is your story here. Diagnosed with painful nerve condition, Sean King asks for help paying medical procedures. All right. That size says a lot. Journalist and social activist Sean King said in a new social media post that he's been diagnosed with a painful nerve condition that's left him unable to do some of the most basic actions without experiencing excruciating agony. Because he said his insurance won't cover the recommended treatment, the 43-year-old reached out to his more than 3 million followers on social media in an appeal to help him pay for the medical procedures. King said on Instagram, in an Instagram post, that he is suffering from a condition called occipital neuralgia, which he called the worst pain I've ever experienced in my adult life. He said it was the result of a lingering spinal injury he said he sustained more than 2 decades ago. At times it hurts to move my head in any direction. He wrote in a post, it can hurt to talk, chew, even blink my eyes. It can now hurt to touch my hair or even touch parts of my face. It's awful. King has been dogged for years by unfounded allegations of scamming in an effort to line his pockets with online donations. Here's a tweet from Lee Merritt about Sean King. Our brother is suffering. So feel free to look into that, and if you find it worthy, send him some money.
No, don't send him no money. Don't send him money. I mean, he just scammed people out of a book that he was supposed to write. Apparently,
really?
He was supposed to write this book, and it was supposed to be published, I think, last month. And so I guess he, collected all the money beforehand. This pre-sales that he does. This is what he does. He pre-sells everything, and then he hypes all his stuff up. And then
he isn't. I'm sorry. Sorry. Go ahead.
But I just think that that's just an interesting way. And then he collects all this money, and now he's asking for more money, right? And so he doesn't actually produce anything. And then in this case, he's got, so much money for all this, a dog, for his family protection, and now he needs, money for this. He's not insured. Exactly.
He is. Well, the way the article read, it's that he is insured, but they won't cover this particular procedure. So I'm not knowing any of the details of his insurance or what anything about the medical condition. I can't obviously speak on that, but that's what the article was saying. So it's not that he has no insurance, it's that the insurance he has will not cover what he needs. I gotta, but I admit I'm with you. But I do admit my initial reaction, it is pulling on that nobody who needs any health care should have to appeal for a cost in any way. So I always feel a little bit bad for that. But you're right, it is hard. I mean, it's hard to take him seriously. It's hard to, he hasn't. One of his projects he was claiming a couple of years ago, something to deal with that would have overlapped with my own research interests. So it was something about a national boycott or something like that. And I remember it was the only time I ever tried to reach out to him to get clarity on the project and what it claimed it could do. And no one ever responded. And I tried, as hard as I ever do when I want to reach out to somebody, I was emailing and, tagging on Twitter or whatever else and doing, contacting the office and all that other stuff. And nobody ever got back to me. But
yeah, I can't imagine they will.
Yeah. Anyway.
I just think that he has a history of that in multiple areas. And I know like I know when he emerged, I always question his emergence in media as far as like whether he was really reporting or benefiting from, other ulterior motives, right? He left the New York Times, and then now all of a sudden he's just been living his life grifting people. And I think it's at some point people have to realize that this is how he makes his money. Like he doesn't make his money, doing any work for people, right? Like, I mean, following Bernie Sanders on a campaign is not what I consider, any work for the people. And again, he's not even reporting at any major publication, even though he, puts his, I know he puts some stuff behind the paywall. I don't know if he's still doing it now that he's hurt and he can't move his head, but, he had his bougie clothing line. I've seen it all.
I did see that. And I saw it was like a $50 for that t-shirt it was like a plain black t-shirt with one word on it or something like that. It was something very, very basic for $50.
Yeah, it was like AOC
$35.
Did the same thing. Like that's what they do, these hand selected cotton materials that they try to claim are all organic. Like what are we selling here?
Well, I think a lot of it is from the tree that produces all this fruit. The tree being the run up to Obama's first election, where he was being redefined as a community activist. And with that help of rebranding what it means to be a community activist, it seems like it has helped, it has greased the wheels of the machinery of producing nonprofit driven activism that makes everything else seem like lunacy on the left and irrelevant and not pragmatic and immature, and allowed from whether it's Black Lives Matter to Shaun King and whatever else. It's a lot of what you were just describing.
A lot of the same.
But important. No, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I just can't imagine why people still, believe that these people are actually doing, the work that's needed or necessary to actually instill some type of change, right? And so, like, people, I don't know who these, 3 million followers are. I can't imagine them being anyone, of a certain class. I imagine them being a certain class, the people who are actually contributing to his funds. So I don't know who is he grifting really at this point.
At this point, I don't. Yeah, that's a good question. So going back to what we were talking about earlier, I think it dovetails very nicely with the insurmountable or wave of propaganda and messaging and rebranding that causes us so many problems in the work that all of us in these associated spaces are trying to do. That if Sean King and that kind of work, as you said, going around following Bernie Sanders can be seen as activism, then the kind of work that really would need to occur for actual change to happen is again dismissed as unpractical, immature. It's, what do you mean do something other than vote for the lesser of evil and whatnot? And a lot of that messaging is that I think helps build a 3 million person audience of probably a variety of backgrounds. I mean, because on the one hand, it's easy just to follow somebody. You could even forget that you're following them and lose sight of them. It doesn't mean you're an active participant. By the way, like, share, subscribe, everybody. We're almost at 26,000 followers and subscribers on YouTube. And but we don't hit 20,000 views on our videos. So let's activate our subscriber base. But I think it's very easy to and I think we're always endlessly encouraged to redefine activism into something as simple as following a Sean King, having him follow Bernie Sanders, having someone create a hashtag, having someone maybe, hold up a sign in the street, something, but the actual disruptive work and difficult, unpopular, unpaid organizing, that's a different thing. So that's anyway. But speaking of wildly popular and functional and tactical and practical, the ear doctor is back with us.
Hey, listen, we got these new BPM shirts right here. Only going for $63, $63.99. And we put the wrinkle in there so you can look like you did your thing. And it's old fashioned. You know what I'm saying? And the marker part, that's not just your regular a permanent marker. That's not your regular one. It's a different style.
How much is it again?
$63.99. That's it. Come get your new BPM shirt.
Hold that up one more time, man. Please hold that up one more time.
Was that hand sourced, fair trade from the continent?
Exactly. Untouched by any other ethnical group but us. This is the new FUBU.
It's only $63.99. What a deal. You can't.
Listen. We got
Can y'all. I get the crop top? Can I get the crop top?
Yeah.
We got the crop tops. You know those scissors that got like the fridges? We'll cut them at the bottom just like that too. We'll take you back, baby. 80s all day. Man, don't get me started. Y'all talking about getting some money? Let's get it.
Oh man, that's it. I love it. That's the best one. $63.99.
$63.99 gets you that, baby.
He said we'll put the wrinkle in it to make you look like you doing something.
Exactly, like you working.
We can throw a little stain on there, make it look.
No, the fresh armpit stains. I already see it.
Make it 87.45. The stain will make it 87.45. We got you. All right, we're going to take our next break, and we're going to come back with some more for y'all right here on the Remix Morning Show. Oh, yeah. Some of that space age pimping for y'all. What's good, everybody? Welcome out right here to the Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. And please hit that like button, subscribe button if you haven't already. What we do here is we ask y'all if y'all got some dope music to please send your music to eardoctormusic1@gmail.com. If you know an artist that's dope and you think, they spitting, they need to be on here. They need to get that platform up. So with that said, send that music here. Well, what we do have is we do have a brother that sent some music in. He goes by the name of Prophet Ali. So let's check out Prophet Ali's new joint. Well, I won't say it's new, but this joint is pretty hard. It's called Liberty or Death. Let's get to it.
Arc hold a few hundred, Noah with the flow, blood of rubber smalls. I'm a free soul, you can quote. Tide in our favor, time on our side. Take only what we need to survive. Let's ride. Chopper hold 100. Malcolm in his prime, Martin after the dream. Never say die, stay alive, stay woke. Make haste, make hope. Great again, until we all free, deaths are fate again. How could I believe descendants of deceivers? Handing out freedom to all that believe them. Massa still massive, it's manipulation. Best thing forced on us, segregation. Burn down Black Wall Street, we can't have patience. Our hands here closed, no, do your own saving. Can't find refuge, gotta build safe haven. Stop the pigeon, bringing messages. Call upon the ravens, money, cars, clothes, hoes, bros. Ain't that your craving? Let the white man tell it, he the only one maven. All a nigga knows is, all a nigga taught. But if he teach himself, that's a nigga turned God.
All right, there you go. That is Liberty or Death from Prophet Ali. So go check him out. He's on different platforms. And he sent, I met him at the Malcolm X Festival. He said, yo, Ear Doctor, I got something for you. I said, let me hear it. So boom, he sent that in. Prophet Ali. Send your music in and you get it played. If it's dope, stop playing. Because if it ain't, you know what I'm gonna do. All right, let's get back to the Remix Morning crew right here. Let's get it.
Never say die, stay alive, stay woke. Make haste, make hope. Great again, until we all free, deaths are fate again. Sleep.
Yeah, I fucks with that.
Right?
Yeah, I do.
Thank you for sending in
I
some.
appreciate that.
Yes, Mr. Ali.
Yeah.
So my only little thing
Master
is no. The Wall Street, the Black Wall Street thing.
Oh, Wall
Street. Because he had a line in there, something about the positivity of segregation. And so I get the thing about, the Black collectivity, but the one thing, or maybe the most important thing I think in Marisa Baradaran's work on this subject is her point about you can segregate people, but you cannot segregate economies. So with his references to the positive to the positiveness of segregation and to Black Wall Street, it aligns with the mythology that there is this separate economy that Black people can create that goes back to the brilliant presentation that Black Myths just did on the circulation of the Black dollar, that should become the single video source that is sent to everyone anytime somebody brings up that mythology. Just click copy and paste and send people that Black Myths presentation. So other than that, I mean, but the energy, the rhyme, the beat, the content, I think somebody complained about the mix. I didn't catch the
it could have been better, but it was good. I liked it.
But
yeah, it was good. I thought he said burn down Black
Wall. He said they burned down Black Wall Street.
They burned down Black Wall Street. Okay.
Because which they did, again, that wasn't the single action that destroyed the internal Black economy. It was the federal public policy that came 20 years later that destroyed even the rebuilt and improved Black Wall Street and all the other Black economies. So in other words, I'm just trying to say that this idea that Black people can, and this goes back even to Coco, some of the work that you've been doing, that Black people can separate in this context and have their own economy. It's not I don't.
Yeah, without political power, what is anything? Period.
So that's my only little thing.
Let me play God's advocate here.
Oh boy.
So with that said, I understand that you can't have the same economy as them. And it's not like we're trying to be capitalist or be quote unquote rich, but just have our own segregation and have our own dollars circulating. That don't mean we're trying to be rich like the other communities are trying to be rich and be capitalists and take for their people. But you don't find it all right to have our somewhat own dollars circulating within, even though we're not trying to be rich, we're just trying not to spend outside of the community. Even though we got to pay for resources, I guess.
I understand the concept and the principle of unity and collectivity. I'm just simply saying that it doesn't work. It functionally doesn't work to improve or sustain a community, because and again, Black myths do this better than I've ever seen it. But the real point is that if poor people are circulating their a few resources, that doesn't improve or increase resources. It just redistributes the little bit that they have to, and really what it ends up doing, and this is the other problem, people say that they're not trying to be capitalists, but invariably what ends up happening is whatever resources are in the community don't circulate. They end up being pooled in the handful, in the hands of the few within the few that benefit from what is supposed to be a circulation. Because again, there's an imbalance and an inequality even within the community as to who can do and has what. So not everybody in the poor community, or in any poor community, or in the Black community has an equal level of resources and access to resources. So even as you start recirculating what is in there, it's invariably going to end up in the hands of a few, of an even fewer few. So it just functionally doesn't work. That's all.
Without institutions, right? If you don't have control over your institutions, right, and you're not actually in power over your own institutions and your resources. I mean, we got to think about where these resources are coming from, whatever you're selling and where the raw materials come from. We don't have any control over any of that, right? So it has to go as far back as possible to the original source. And we don't even have control over our own labor. So I just can't see it.
But do you choose, and I'm with the comment. Do you choose to support your own people, even though y'all know that it's not going to take us to this next plateau? Because I buy Black laundry detergent. I buy Black whatever I can when I can. So, I mean, it's not to discourage us from buying Black.
As a form of nation building, when I think about the idea of nation building, right? We have so many talents, right, and abilities to create, right, and to, like you said, to have a Black owned laundry detergent, right? We have so many skills, but if we're not collectively organizing ourselves politically to have power over that, right? You don't have power over your business. The current government has power over your business, right? Because you have to register your business. I mean, at the end of the day, who really has power over you? So to me, it's like we have all these skills, these talents that are useful to building a nation. But at the end of the day, who has power over that is what matters. And when you actually have power over that, then we can actually see some tangible change, right? When you have power over your labor, when you have power over your institutions, right? You have power over your communities, when the police cannot come into your communities. So like, unless you have that, all this Black buying, like, is not going to make a difference. It really isn't. It might, help somebody survive at this point, right? Like this is a survival tactic, but this is not actual, there's no longevity in that. Because then who gets bought out by the capitalists,
Akon just invited all of us to Africa, and he said, we get there, we run everything. We got all the resources, we got all the people. NBA players can have their own teams, and they can coach them and own them. All we got to do is go back to Africa. Y'all ready?
Oh, man. There's just so many flaws with that. There's so much wrong with that. But I mean, I know we don't have endless amount of time this morning to just keep going here, but I just ask people to just run through the thought exercise on their own. So even just starting with the black laundry detergent that you're talking about, I'm fully in favor of supporting that endeavor. But this is what invariably happens, and it was even reported. I talked about it with the black puzzle maker in DC during the pandemic. As soon as it was promoted that people should buy from black-owned this and that, and people found this puzzle maker's operation, the puzzle maker quickly said, I'm about to collapse because I don't have the infrastructure to meet the new demand. There's not a venture capital source that's going to help me expand my factory, or to create a factory. At best you end up, they make a few more dollars than they normally would. This black detergent group is going to make a few more dollars than they normally would. But what would be the logical conclusion, even if we all started trying to buy from that person or that entity? They would have to immediately scale up the operation.
Somebody will buy them out.
Where would they get the venture capital to do that? And that's why we see so many times these black-owned businesses, the first chance they get, they sell to somebody else. They sell to that, and that becomes the goal. Get big enough that the bigger white people, and by the way, this is what white folks do too. This is how Microsoft and Apple became monopolies, because when white companies would start developing computer technology and software that would do something Microsoft wanted done, Microsoft just bought them. And then the people would go onto the trade magazines and be like, yay, like that was the goal. I developed some shit that Bill Gates wanted to make me rich for. Like, it wasn't, I want to compete with Bill Gates. I want to do something different for what I conceive as my community. It was, I want to get in and get it, so, and that's ultimately, even among black people that would want to do something for their people. So just think about the African thing too. What's going to happen when all these Africans from the diaspora show up in some African country? I was at the table in Zimbabwe one day when Mugabe told us, come back. Not all of you, but, and his point, and part of his point, at least as I interpreted, was we don't have the infrastructure to help you. We can't even help ourselves. I can't even get rid of these colonizers entirely. I can't get rid of those they fund to compete against me. I can't, like there's so many. Anyway.
That's a lot. Thank you for that rant real quick, and I am out of here. I always love to come stir some shit up. I'll catch y'all at the end. Peace.
But we do have a story from Erica that points to a solution, and allows me to shamelessly plug the second edition of the Buying Power book, because in this Connecticut Mirror story about baby bonds, they make reference to, without mentioning his name, the work of Derek Hamilton, who I know has been one of the leading economists, black economists, promoting baby bonds as a solution to the racial wealth divide. And of course, he wrote the foreword to the second edition of my book that's coming out hopefully soon. It's actually coming out in June. So all those contradictions aside, and we welcome all that will bring. The story here is that, and what happened to my notes? There we go. Oh, the baby bonds, I'm sorry. The baby bonds will be Connecticut's baby bonds program, the first of its kind statewide policy aimed at narrowing the racial wealth gap, was passed in June 2021. After it passed, the legislature voted to delay the program's start date by 2 years, from July 2nd, 2021 to July 1st, 2023. The delay was due to political interference. But what are these bonds? The concept introduced by a pair of economists over a decade ago. Again, I don't know. Why can't you put somebody's name in there? It's simple enough. Set aside and invest money on behalf of children born into poor families. Connecticut baby bonds would place $3,200 in a trust on behalf of each baby born who is covered by Husky, the state's Medicaid program, around 15,600 children per year. According to the Treasurer's Office, each child's deposit likely would grow via investments to between $11,000 and $24,000, depending on when the funds are accessed. So I'm a little skeptical that at $24,000, that's going to upset the racial wealth divide, but
word, I'm just like, what is $24,000? Like, yeah.
But And I'll invite Brother Hamilton on to talk to us about it at some point. I'm assuming the argument would include that if this plan were extrapolated and made national and federal, that it could be maybe developed to the point where people would end up with a bit more than $24,000, because I don't know. And then we're talking about Connecticut too. So I'm not that familiar with the entire state, but where in, how homes in Connecticut will $24,000 get you into, even as a down payment? Even if we were to believe then that home ownership was a pathway to closing wealth inequality. But anyway, any baby born after July 1st of this year will automatically be allocated the money. The legislature initially approved $600 million in bonding, $50 million a year for 12 years to pay for the program. But the funding source has since changed. A deal reached in May still would invest $600 million over the next 12 years in the program, but it no longer would rely on borrowed money to finance those investments, avoiding an estimated $165 million in interest charges. Instead, a solution was found in a special reserve fund Connecticut set up in 2019 when restructuring the cash-starved pension fund for municipal teachers. The reserve, which was designed to be tapped if the state failed to make its full annual contribution to the teachers' pension fund, currently holds about $393 million. So, yeah, there it is.
I'm just saying, I mean,
problem solved.
A little bit of money helps, a little bit of money helps, but it's not a solution, right? It's like, again, survival. Like, if I got a little money, I could survive, but I'm not actually gonna do anything. What I gotta flip the money, I gotta invest the money, like what I gotta do
buy
to
a
get
brick.
that money up.
Get it? No, I mean, yeah, no, I mean, it's again, I don't, yeah, you're right. I'm not, nobody's in a position to walk away from $24,000, but I mean.
And that's hypothetical too. Like we're assuming that in 12 years or 15, 20 years that money or the US dollar is going to be worth anything, right? Because then again, this currency is not, it's made up, right? We're assuming that these things.
So we're betting, ultimately we're betting that the United States will still be a dominant power. That's ultimately, but we just saw that they increased the military budget, Coco. So when you increase the military budget, you can colonize and strengthen your empire, and strengthen therefore the value of the dollar. What's up, young man? Which should give us confidence in our investments, in baby bonds, etc. So maybe that's how we can interpret the news today. Increased militarism means increased strength of your investments. That's it. Increasing the military budget is an investment on the dollar. Exactly.
It is. Yeah. Which we don't want. We don't want no more investments.
Oh no! Did I scared the little one? My bad.
He actually couldn't hear you, but
good.
He did react. So
I'm sorry.
It was me. I told him to go away. in a nice way. In a nice way. My bad. Yeah,
my bad.
You don't need to be in these YouTube streets. Gotta restrict that. He don't know about social media. He don't know about all of that stuff, right? And I'm trying my best to not program him to that level, right? Where he's dancing on camera for whoever, because that's what it seems like these days. Everyone's on camera dancing. It's wild to me.
We had to. No, you're right. Do that. We withheld all of this stuff from our children well into their 15 was when they started, and immediately we had to take our youngest phone away. With all of that training and upbringing and warning, as soon as she got her phone, within 2 weeks, she was, she didn't go too far, but she went for us. And it was like, oh, that's it. Let's wheel it back. But then it starts to feel like you're punishing yourself because it's so easy when you got the phone, be like, go be where you need to be. Where you at? But no, I'm with you. Keep it as much as you can. Because let's come back with Erica had provided us with a little more background to what Ear Doctor talked about earlier. I see all of this as being connected. Social media to Elon Musk's Neuralink brain implant firm cleared for human trials. Neuralink cleared by US FDA to study implant allowing interface between human brains and computers. This can't be. This just sounds horrible. Don't we interact enough? U.S. regulators have given approval. Neuralink said on Tuesday that it received clearance. We're excited. Which Neuralink prototypes, which are the size of a coin, have so far been implanted in the skulls of monkeys. Demonstrations by the startup showed with the help of a surgical robot, a piece of the skull is replaced with a Neuralink disc, and its wispy wires are strategically inserted into the brain, and early demonstrations showed. The disc registers nerve activity, relaying the information via a common Bluetooth wireless signal to a device such as a smartphone, according to Musk. It actually fits quite well in your skull. Musk said during a prior presentation, it could be under your hair and you wouldn't know. So is he going to go
just the fact that it fits right under your skull, like that's just like regular, like that's like, oh, okay, just
that's
casually.
Skull
thuggery, exactly. And is he going to be first? Is he going to be among the first human trials? At a previous presentation, Neuralink showed several monkeys playing basic video games or moving a cursor on a screen through their Neuralink implant. The technology has also been tested on pigs. Recruitment for a clinical trial with humans is not yet open, according to Neuralink. Musk, who recently established a business devoted to developing sophisticated artificial intelligence, has contended that syncing minds with machines is vital if people are going to avoid being outpaced by AI. Experts and academics remain cautious about his visions of symbiotically merging their minds with superpowered computing. What is this? What do we get in here? Just real quick. This is a 25-minute story. Anyway, maybe we can come back and look at. Folks can look at this, and we can come back to this at some point. This is the monkey playing the. Oh, we're going back to the early stage video games. Everybody remember that? Pong. Maybe you all are.
That was young. Before Coco time.
That's before Coco's time. Wow, I don't know, huh?
I said, who's to say so? I might be old enough for that.
Oh, you might be old. Okay,
I
don't know. Anyway, well, at least on 4 occasions since 2019, Musk predicted that his medical device company would start human trials of a brain implant to treat intractable conditions such as paralysis and blindness. Yet the company founded in 2016 did not seek permission from FDA until early 2022, and the agency rejected the application, 7 current and former employees told Reuters news agency in March. Reuters reported in December 22 that the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Inspector General was investigating, at the request of a federal prosecutor, potential violations of the Animal Welfare Act. I mean, it does seem like, I do feel sorry for those monkeys. Musk has said Neuralink would try to use implants to restore vision. As miraculous as it may sound, we are confident that it is possible to restore full body functionality to someone who has a severed spinal cord. Wow. Anyway, okay, well, there it is. Musk said it's a good thing.
So
who are we to challenge that?
I mean, that's crazy. I thought it was skull thuggery, not duggery, but yeah, it's still a thuggery.
Well, it is skull duggery, but skull thuggery. I thought you were doing a play on words. That wasn't you. So you accidentally punned your way into. excellence. Wow.
There it is.
Okay.
That's what I do. Yo, that is crazy, man. I mean,
by the way, speaking of what you do, we hit 300 plus. So
I seen that. I'll be in these streets. I got a mix coming up at the end. But I mean, we here, y'all. We here. I mean, the fact that they doing this, have wires in your brain and everything. I mean, for the people, let me ask y'all this: when they talked about healing your eyes with laser surgery, did any of y'all ever be like, "Ooh, I might want to try that"?
I did. I was told I was not given household permission.
Yeah,
I've considered it.
That's what I'm saying. I don't trust these people like that on all levels. It's like, nah, I'm good.
But I'm cool without surgeries and all that stuff. Yeah.
Because people gonna be running for this.
So I don't. It's my issue is more with obviously capitalism, imperialism, etc. In general, I don't have an issue with the technology or the attempts at developing new technology. I just am not confident about the hands in control here. So I'd really like to read more and find out that, because I'd like to be reconfirmed in what I already believe about Musk's lack of involvement. That would actually help me feel better. So if I read, because I'm sure he's just the voice of, so if I actually heard from Neuralink scientists, I think I'd feel better.
So you want to hear from the robotic surgeon that performs?
Yeah, I do. I want to hear more from the people actually developing the technology, actually performing the installation and all of that. Because I think that Musk to me is, again, he's the brand. He is the what is it, top tier colonizer. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the people underneath him doing the work are themselves consciously part of that mission. They may actually think that they're doing something good, and I'd like to hear their argument before I make my final judgment. But I am so like with, I think if my wife had said it was okay, I probably would have gone for the LASIK eye surgery. I don't have that. I don't like, I do want to limit my interaction. Just I don't know. Anyway, whatever.
I'm like, the Most High made me like this. Take it or leave it.
I always think about technology and advancement based on who is advancing technology, right? And so, like, if I was to think about Cuba, right, and their technology and their advancement,
there you go.
I wouldn't. I'm not saying that the state is the answer, but if it's in control of the people are in control of the state, then I wouldn't be as hesitant as I am in this current context, right? In this current, like, who Elon Musk and who he works for, and all of the puppets behind this technology, or who controls this technology. I think it's not to benefit the people; it's to benefit capitalism and for domination. And there's nothing good that ever comes from it, right? So I just hesitate on these advancements when it comes down to who benefits, who really benefits. Like, we think that we're going to benefit, but we actually don't, because it's always them. And how many people are actually going to be have access to the technology? Like, how many people with spinal issues are going to have access to the technology? I mean, Jackie comes here and tells us that, very few people have access to her care that she has, right? And it's not something that everyone is going to be able to access. And we're just talking about, a kidney or, an organ in this case. But think about that. Who is actually going to access this technology in a beneficial way? Very few.
So so Nia, that's what Coco just made my point better, but that's the point I would be making. So I don't trust folks to tell me the truth. I'm just saying that I trust the actual scientists and mechanics, etc., doing the work more than I trust Musk. So I would just like to, that's all I meant. But ultimately, Coco is making the point I would have liked to make, that it's in the context. Like, Cuba created a vaccine for COVID. In that context, for me, is very different. Even though I'm supportive of the vaccine here, I don't, that context to me is very different than, so the global condemnation of vaccines doesn't work for me when there's a Cuba doing it in that context. So that's all I was really trying to say about this.
Well, even here, the vaccine, not everybody had access to the same vaccine, right?
Exactly,
you have, people in prisons who had access to the Johnson & Johnson vaccine that, was deemed unacceptable at some point, right? And you realize who has access to what and what is actually going to benefit people. Not everybody has access to the right vaccine and whatnot, so.
And I am probably still naive, but to Nia's point, like even when I go to my own medical whatever, as much as I have read and am clear about medical apartheid and have my criticisms, and they themselves may be naive, but I don't think that everybody who practices within these industries is consciously part of that the colonial project. I think a good many of them are doing as good a job as could be done in that context. So that's all I really mean. Like, I still would want to hear from, in this sense, Neuralink scientists. Not that I'm believing them, but I would like to hear what their arguments are beyond Musk, because Musk I clearly don't trust. I mean, this is a wrap.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that everybody, it doesn't mean, that's all. That's it.
I mean, but there's also a history of European science, right? That is derived from experimenting on people, especially, in a class relationship, who gets experimented on and who, if we think about even European science, Germans, Nazis, a lot of the science came here and is now, developed, and, the money, the infrastructure that's been invested into it. So I question all of it. I hear all the arguments of like who to trust and why not to trust things, but
because
check this out. I'm sorry, go ahead. Just no. Okay, yeah. When they say here they dance to the beat of the people who funds them, so don't forget the contradiction that even is within, for instance, Black Studies. The Ford Foundation funded the Africana Studies and Research Center, even under the foundational directorship of Dr. James Turner, and a lot of great work still happened there. So you got it. Like, I hear you, and I hear what all of you are saying. I'm just saying we can't immediately dismiss everything that everyone says just because. I get it, though. I hear you. I just want to throw that in.
There's usefulness, right, within a lot of this, right? So I feel like that, you have scholars who produce, in an effort that is for the people. However, it's still controlled, or even originally or originates from, right, a specific place, right? And I think where it originates, I think kind of guides and steers where it ends up. And I think it's fair to question these things, and it's not to say that the people who are behind the work is the problem. It's the institution that's the problem, right? Who controls the institutions? And it goes back to that. It's not for us. It's these institutions are not for us. We're just the guinea pig. We're the guinea pigs. We're the the experimentation. We're the study, the numbers, and all of that. But we're not actually in control of that. So I think that matters.
They'll most likely try this out on workers that work at Amazon and stuff if they do go lower class, because I would assume that most of these chips are going to go to the people that got money. Or let's try the working class. Let's test it out on them and do our Amazon workers. And
that's why I want to see if Musk is going to go first. Put him in that trial, baby.
Right?
I just think people have a different experience. Put your brain
where your mouth is.
I think people have a different experience, though. I think, depending on what class position you have, I think you'll have a different experience with these chips, right? And so there's going to be people who are criminalized that might have a chip that's for a criminal, their connection to criminality, and, to follow instead of having a ankle monitoring bracelet, you might have a chip, right? And so it really depends on what class position you have and how you experience these chips. So like if you have money, you're going to have better healthcare because, in this context, better healthcare, but, you'll have access to, a specialty surgery because you have money. And so that benefits you differently. But if you're in a lower class position, you're not going to have access to a benefit. You're going to have access to more surveillance Because honestly, let's be real here. This is surveillance, and
that's wild.
That's what technology is at this point.
Because they can be like, listen, private prisons is be like, listen, this is a new thing. You're gonna have to get it. You are at this prison. This is how we keep track of you instead of numbers. And bam, there you go. That's how it start off. Man, welcome to the Remix Morning Show, yo. We take you from we take you from Elon Musk to AI to football, soccer. We go everywhere right here on Remix Morning Show. We about to get up out of here, so I'm gonna hit y'all with a mix right here at the end of the show. And we're gonna come back.
Remixers.
Right. That's right. We'll be back here tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. with a whole nother crew. You know how we do. Right here. Let's take it out.
One track mind.
Well done, sir.
A little bit of go.
One track mind.
Take me out of here with a banger.
One man, $100 and a one track mind. Tired of being broke ain't no joke. Contemplating, perpetrating, selling. Then my eyes blink. I start to think about the career of Stinky Dink. It's time to go hard. Develop a one track mind. Ask God to be my guide and come to create the riggedy road one son of a gun this day.
It don't mean a thing if it don't got to go swing. You go, what? We're gonna do this one over, y'all. My special request, y'all. You got that go swing. We're gonna do it for Sean and Vinny of Howard University. If any, Vinny and Sean known to party to dawn. They're gonna do wop. All right, thank you. I want to see the people.
DC, DMV, where you at? Remix Morning Show, y'all. Let's